There are many speculations all around the internet on how these three magic numbers can be, quote, the key to the universe. I will not repeat any description of the vortex math and explain again why the 3, 6, and 9 are special in that regard. You can find these videos in the internet, and chances are you have already seen at least one of them. Indeed, the vortex math looks amazing and mysterious. So mysterious that one may say it is so simple and basic that it must be a fundamental explanation of some very important things. I warn you that it can be very addictive to think this way, and in no time you find yourself eating 3 pieces of food 6 times a day for 9 minutes. Would that be good for you? I don't know. Unfortunately, that wasn't so good for Nikola Tesla himself, considering how he ended his life broke and alone in a cold New York hotel room. In the end, 3, 6, and 9 are just numbers, and vortex is just a mathematical construct, a trick that may or may not have relations to material things. The mathologer, an old guy who seems to know math very well, said, quote, "The vortex is not as special and amazing as it ought to be by all these Tesla videos, and they proclaim it to be the key to the universe mainly based on these properties is simply ridiculous." A very reasonable statement, isn't it? Many card tricks seems amazing too, but we don't claim any card trick to be the key to the universe, do we? This sounds very reasonable, but as much as I want to stop here, I cannot. Because there is one topic that hasn't been discussed yet in relation to this 369 mystery. The most fundamental laws of physics. And these laws also are thought to be the key to the universe. Let's see how many fundamental types of forces, or interactions as physicists call them, we know. We know gravity, electromagnetism, and the strong and weak nuclear forces. Although we count 4, there are actually 3, because electromagnetism and weak nuclear interaction are both governed by electric charges and can be described by a single electroweak theory in modern physics. Amazingly, physicists have worked hard to combine all these types of interactions under the theory a single quantum theory that can explain everything in the universe. But they never found such a theory of everything. The 3 types of interactions remain separate with their separate laws. Next, let's see how many truly fundamental particles are needed to make all known and yet unknown chemical elements. We need protons and neutrons to make atomic nuclei, and we need electrons and photons. Again, we count 4, but neutron is not an elementary particle. Out of the nucleus, it turns into a proton and an electron in the process called beta decay. So again, we need only 3 fundamental things: proton, electron, and photon to make all the ordinary matter in the universe. A physicist may say here that I forgot about neutrinos, but I'm not at all convinced that we need neutrinos to explain the universe. However, this is a big question and I plan to discuss it in a separate video. Only 3 elementary particles are needed to build all the matter we can see in the universe. Isn't that amazing? Another sign of the number 3 we find in strong nuclear forces, the ones that hold together protons and neutrons that are made of quarks. These quarks always appear in triplets. These are my 3 arguments for why 3 is the most basic number in our universe. Now, what about number 6? It turns out that this number may be the key to the matter we can see in the universe too. Earlier, I've said that we need 3 fundamental particles to make all the matter we know. However, I did not mention that protons are supposedly made by quarks and that all particles have antiparticles. This leads us to the Standard Model, which, according to modern quantum physics, represents all the fundamental elements of matter as we know it. Although you can see here 17 truly elementary particles in this table, and there are actually much more if we consider all antiparticles and all types of quarks and gluons, I think we should reduce it to just 6. How so? Let's see. Quarks S and B are different from quark D only by mass. Quarks T and C are different from the quark U only by mass too. Mass is energy, so quarks S and B are just more energetic forms of the quark D, and quarks T and C are more energetic forms of the quark U. Similarly, tau and muon are just more energetic forms of the electron. Moreover, quark D is converted to quark U in beta decay, when a neutron made of quark triplet UDD turns into a proton made of quark triplet UUD. In a sense, quark D can be seen as quark U with the addition of an electron. The next move may seem controversial, as I suggest to get rid of all the neutrinos, W and Z bosons, and even the Higgs boson. In spite of the official belief, all those particles have not been seen in experiments, and their removal will make quantum theories much simpler. However, again, these are hard questions that I'd like to leave for later. Now it looks like we've got 4 particles again. Let's not forget about antiparticles. With all these changes, the new Standard Model should consist of 6 truly elementary particles of matter: quark, antiquark, gluon, the 3 elements of strong interaction; electron, positron, and photon, the 3 elements of electromagnetism. Is it all we need to make the universe? Let's see. Let's get to the number 9, the king of all numbers. Our explanation of the universe cannot be complete without this number. The number 6 can explain all the matter we can see in the universe, but not all the matter that exists there. In addition to the ordinary matter we can see, there is the so-called dark matter we cannot see, but which must be present according to astronomical data. In fact, our universe has about 5 times more dark matter than ordinary matter. Physicists predict that this matter is made of some kind of yet unknown particles interacting only via gravity. Don't mix them with gravitational waves. Gravity on the scale of particles is extremely weak, and that's why it is so hard to catch those particles. Physicists call them WIMPs, weakly interacting massive particles. Mass is all they have, and that mass is very, very, very small. In case each fundamental force in the universe has 3 major elements, it is logical to expect that there are 3 elementary gravitational particles, 3 WIMPs, making dark matter in the universe. Add them to the 6 elements of ordinary matter and you get all the 9 fundamental elements of the universe. So 9 indeed describes everything in the universe. But in vortex 9 is also serves as 0. This means that 9 also describes nothing. The initial singularity before the Big Bang, when all the forces were united and no particles and no interaction existed. Now it looks like all 3 numbers have been mentioned. And yet there is one more miracle to touch. Some believe that the 369 is somehow related to the extra-dimensional world. Nikola Tesla said, quote, "The day science begins to study non-physical phenomena, it will make more progress in 1 decade than in all the previous centuries of its existence." Speaking of non-physical entities, people often mean immaterial things like God, demons, or ghosts. However, Nikola Tesla also said, quote, "What one man calls God, another calls the laws of physics." Non-physical entities are simply things that are predicted by science but lack physical demonstrations of their existence for humans. Extra dimensions are a good example, as they are well described mathematically, but their existence or absence cannot be proven by scientific methods. Being three-dimensional creatures, we simply cannot reach the extra-dimensional world if it exists, no matter how hard we try. However, at least one extra dimension must exist for sure. According to Einstein's theory of gravity, the general relativity theory, mass curves space. If so, our space must be not 3 but 4-dimensional, and I don't count time as an extra dimension here, because a curved 3-dimensional world can only exist in a flat 4-dimensional space, and that is a mathematically proven fact. This is actually true for any dimensional world. For instance, curved 2-dimensional world, the sphere, only exists in a flat 3-dimensional space. Let's talk about extra dimensions in physics. A long time ago, in 1921, German mathematician Theodor Kaluza have shown that adding one extra dimension to the Einstein spacetime of general relativity allows one to combine it with the Maxwell equations of electromagnetism. That was the first successful theory combining gravity and electromagnetism, approved by Albert Einstein himself. However, this was not a quantum theory, neither it has led to a successful quantum theory of gravity and electromagnetism. Modern quantum theories like superstring theories use this idea of extra dimensions, attempting to combine all types of interactions together. In fact, adding hidden extra dimensions to our three-dimensional world is the only way to combine physical interactions together. What if one shows a way to translate Einstein's curved three-dimensional space into a curved four-dimensional space with an added closest extra dimension and gets a quantum theory of electromagnetism at the end? If and how that can be done, you can see by the link in the description. In case this is true, we can start from our familiar three dimensions, then add one hidden extra dimension, then add an outer space dimension where this four-dimensional space is curved, and then add one dimension of time, and finally get 6 dimensions where electromagnetism exists together with gravity, a 6-dimensional spacetime for atoms and electrons. Next, we add 3 more hidden extra dimensions and get 9-dimensional world of quarks and gluons. Yet again, we started from 3, get to 6, and ended with 9. Isn't it a miracle? Finally, let's answer the main question. Is there a key to the universe? I think we can find it combining the Einstein's greatest idea of curved spacetime and the advances of quantum physics with the 9-dimensional model of the spacetime. Then the numbers 3, 6, and 9 will reveal their secret powers. The universe has 3 types of fundamental interactions, 3 types of ordinary matter particles, and yet 3 unknown dark matter particles. This set of the most fundamental triplets governs our three-dimensional world, which is just a bottom slice of the main triangle of the universe. Inside the main triangle of 3, we see the triangle of 6, which represents the 6-dimensional quantum world of atoms and electrons, with 6 truly elementary particles of the ordinary matter. Finally, inside the triangle of 6, we find the triangle of 9, which represents the untouchable 9-dimensional spacetime of quarks and gluons. The top of all the triangles represents the initial singularity, the starting point of the universe, where all the interactions and all the particles become nothing. The main triangle is also a very schematic map of the universe. It starts from the point of singularity and quickly unrolls, expanding to the present state of immense size and beauty. However, the inner worlds of 6 and 9 always remain hidden and separated from our three-dimensional world. That's why no single formula or theory of everything is ever possible. And we will always need three separate sets of laws of physics. Flip this map upside down and you will know the future of the universe. It will contract back to a single point where all become nothing again. Okay, this is my explanation of Tesla's 369 statement. In case you'd like to check the real science behind it, use the links in the description. All this may seem controversial, but I urge you to judge yourself instead of following mainstream opinions. Nikola Tesla once said, quote, "The scientists of today think deeply instead of clearly. One must be sane to think clearly, but one can think deeply and be quite insane." Then modern physicists abandon their insane theories and explain nothing and predict nothing, but are overcomplicated and start to think clearly. They find the key to the universe. Thank you for watching. Please comment and subscribe if you'd like me to continue.